You strengthen your strengths and you work on your improvements. It came down to two magic words: nature and nurture. When we identify what your nature is, it's a great thing, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert. If the introvert needs to learn how to just do it and not think it, and an extrovert needs to think about it before they do it. When you identify your nature and honor that, you can nurture a few simple things. And then you can nurture those few simple things. You're both destined to succeed because it's skill set. It's being that little bit more brave.
Welcome back to the podcast. We are here with Dracy Dewar. She is an author, a certified holistic health coach, and a professional network marketing mentor. Her website is dracydewar.com. She is a co-author with Pat Mesiti for a book called The Best Chapter of Your Life. She has a book of her own called The Unwrapped Leader, and we're going to be talking about relationships, networking, business, and so much more. Dracy, glad to be talking to you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure and enthusiasm to be here with you, Robert.
Yeah, yes, we have that mutual enthusiasm, right? Because what's the point of showing up to someone or having a conversation if you're just gonna be a stick in the mud and be glum? Why not be activated and energized and turned on? So that's why we're here. So what do you feel like talking about with us today? What is your uniqueness? What is your passion? What do you have going on?
Oh, wow. Well, I just got excited when you used the word enthusiasm because enthusiasm is probably one of my number one ingredients in the cookie recipe that I am, and that is the yeast. Enthusiasm is the yeast that rises the bread. And I just love the energy that people give. I love giving good energy, and I just feel that we are all connected by energy. So I think enthusiasm was just a really great start and off the cuff. My personal passions is helping people be more brave and confident. I think that's probably the number one thing I love to help people do is become more brave, more professional, just live life to their fullest. And that's probably a really great start. Other than that, I just feel really blessed. I've lived a blessed and charmed life myself personally, and that's not by my birthright. That's not by anything that has happened to me other than I chose by an Anthony Robbins CD when I was down and out and a single mom on social assistance. That kind of just changed my life at 24 years old, and I just haven't stopped since. And I'm here today. And probably the most exciting thing is last year, I was able to co author in Pat's book on the chapter of your life. And what an amazing topic and conversation to have. And so, just by actually writing that first chapter in there, and I believe really seriously, I don't know where I got this from, but the chapter was about having a ballsy business. And again, when I was talking about having ballsy business, I was really talking about all the types of, the curveballs we get in our life and, how things bounce back and forth. And it was just kind of a conversation around stuff like that, or to keep your eye on the ball. And sometimes you're going to ball a time or two. And if you do a really good job, you'll attend a ball. And so when that actually inspired me, I thought, okay, this was really easy. I could actually write a book. And I was currently coaching one of my students, and she was like 21 years old, university student, just had started in the network marketing industry, and she was now 5 years in and was just now ready to level up again. She chose to do it full time, and she's like the top in her industry, so successful. And I was at the time in my career, like I've been 30 years doing what I do. And it was kind of interesting. I needed to start leveling up on being more brave on social media. I got challenged with my bravery, and I had to become more professional and go out and have my personal Midas touch, like go and touch, everything you touch turns to gold. And the only way it's going to do that is by going out and giving love every day. And so it's like, how do I put the Midas touch on what I do? And so Tisha started helping me with my personal branding and social media. And I became the mentee and my student became the mentor, hence the inspiration to write The Unwrapped Leader. As I helped her unwrap her personal gifts in leadership, she started helping me unwrap our gifts, my gifts. And so we said, okay, well, let's see, what does it take to be successful in business nowadays? And we came up with, I think, 11 or 12 topics. And we said, well, let's each week was write about it. And so for 12 weeks, we each wrote a topic. On that topic, we each wrote a chapter. And we were like, wow, this is really great stuff. Well, let's turn it into a book. And I had already just done this chapter. And so we just said, okay. And that's when we started brainstorming names, and the Unwrapped Leader came. And Robert, you were the help in that foundation of creating that book. And so we really want to say thank you and appreciate everything that you've done to help us launch this book. We just actually launched it less than a month ago. We became an Amazon bestseller in our first 24 hours, thanks to all of your guidance from you and your team. So you asked me what's going on in my life right now. Was that a good mouthful for you?
I think so, and there's a lot of lessons built in there. I'm hearing. I mean, first of all, you have a lot of fun with the metaphors, with the ball and with the unwrapped and everything. But what I'm getting from you is on the journey to becoming brave. It's not just not an A to B process, right? It's many steps along the way, and sometimes you have these small wins, like you wrote that one chapter that led to the whole book, or you meet this one person that leads to other things. So it's just like a one day at a time sort of process. And it seems like the lesson I'm getting from you just right off the bat with us talking is if you're afraid, just take a small step anyway, and then you'll be happy at how it was easier than you expected. This whole time you were just talking yourself out of it, but once you did it, it was like, whoa, that actually wasn't too bad, and that will lead to bigger and better things. And also, what I'm hearing from you so far is that really important reminder of how other people are important on the journey. I mean, you could have easily just said me, but you were talking about your kids. You were talking about we were talking about Pat Mesiti earlier, talking about Tasha. So there's these people along the way that help you out, and it's easy to forget that, right? It's easy to think that, well, I need to figure this out. Well, sometimes you figure it out with the help of other people, and so you've come all this way, and you've been on such a journey. And how does that translate to your business and making money and helping others out? What do you do to make money and what is your profession?
Okay, well, that's fabulous. Well, first of all, I thought something was unique in what you had just said is, you know, I've just allowed myself to shine. I think us as young teenagers, us young girls, when we first start off, we're 5 years old and we're brave and we're like, can sing any song and we can dance. And then you become into your teens and you start to shadow and become insecure. And I think that is such a common factor, especially more and more today with social media. It can be an asset and it can also be a curse. And so I guess you choose. And when you get to be in early teens or early 20s, you choose now. You choose to be brave or you choose to be insecure. And I think I just made that choice. I'm going to do everything to shine so I can give other people permission to shine too. I think Marianne Williamson, she did Our Deepest Fear. And that has resonated in me so deep and so hard. So I have done everything I can to help people shine. And so in saying that is, yes, I can be very incredibly interesting, but I had to slow down. If I really want to succeed in business and in life, I needed to become interested. And so that's why I'm so genuinely interested in the people around me. I do all that I can to remember things about them and be the great rememberer. I have a great mentor, Tom Chenaulton. He is known as the great rememberer, and he has what's called contact mapping, and he helps people connect. And so just I'm a sponge. And so I've helped people become a sponge. I help people to become brave. And so I was like in the network marketing industry for 30 years myself personally, 23 years with one company. And I just had a really great mentor that, was earning a six-figure income. And I was like, I don't know how to make that. So just do it, just tell me what to do. So I just became a really good student. And so I just did what she told me to do. And I think I ended up earning more money in my first full year of business than she did. Which, the best gift is the master is not really how many followers they have, especially nowadays. It's really how many masters they've created. So leadership development became a really core factor. So my intensity is not just about being in sales or recruiting new business partners. My whole being has become about leadership development, and leadership development is about unwrapping your gifts. And so in that journey, I've always done a SWOT analysis every year or actually every quarter. What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are the threats and what are the opportunities? And as powerful as that exercise is, I just never really liked the word weaknesses, but I went with it because we have to identify what our weaknesses is. So hence where Tisha and I together collaborated and created the gifts analysis. And so the gifts analysis is the same concept, but there's two elements that are better. The gifts being your strengths, the I being what do you need to improve on versus using the word weaknesses. And when you can identify what you need to improve on, it comes from a place of positivity, and then you can work on what's your F being the future opportunities, and then moving into the T, your threats. But then the best element is the S in gifts, and that is the support you need. I could not do and be and have what I have if I'd not had the support with my mentors along the way. And it has evolved, and my personal coaches have evolved. And right now I'm being coached by three different people, even though I'm a coach myself. Like Pat Mercedes, one of my mentors. I had one of his gifted in the digital academy, Hamish. absolutely love and adore. And our heart goes out to him and his family at this stage because he's going through such a trial and a health challenge in his life at the moment. So we honored and gifted this book for his support. So and right now it's just an amazing thing. So we're taking our talents, and Tisha and I, we just want to really go out there and help people become gifted leaders in their business, whether it's network marketing or whether it's a small business. And we just know, there's five real elements to succeed, or should I say to thrive in the new business of today. And that one is personal branding. Number two happens to be your daily disciplines. Number three would happen to be performing on platforms like this. You got to get good at a few simple platforms and learn to perform and educate and entertain and energize and all those sort of things. And most importantly, empower. And then the other element is creating community. And so there's so many different ways we talk about community, but the ultimate thing is a community where people feel safe, they belong, and they can grow and become the gifted leader themselves. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. I've been hired by a couple of companies where I go corporate side of things, but I'm doing field development. I'm in there helping the field with new business, with developing as well. Now, my passion has become personal branding. I'm not an expert in personal branding, but I have enough experience now and passion to really help small business owners shine online. So that's probably my passion and my mission where we're going. And then so Tisha and I thought, okay, well, let's turn this book into a little bit more. Let's turn this book into a brand and have some offers. So we said, okay, well, let's start. What are our brand pillars? And so this is what I love. This is a game changer, was working out what your brand pillars are. So she said, okay, let's write down 30 things that are my passions, what I love to do, things that I could actually talk about like this. If I could just, somebody asked me a question I could talk about. And so we worked out our brand pillars. I did my personal ones, but I'm going to talk about the Unwrapped leader ones. And we came up with branding being one of them. We came up with community, mindset, and leadership. So when you go to our Instagram or our Facebook or any social media, those are the conversations we're having. That's what we're educating people about. We always know what to talk about because our brand pillars are from our core. And so in saying that, we're starting off our brand with doing Unwrap Your Brand Masterclass. And so that's kind of where we're going with it. We're going with that brand pillar. We're doing a free masterclass so people can come. We can help them show them how we've built our brand and expanded our passions. And then we hopefully give the support that they need to fit based on the level of support that they need. So that's kind of where we're going. We're kind of throwing a bit of spaghetti and seeing what sticks, but we're doing it really purposeful. And so everything we do is on purpose. And that's kind of where we are today. And that's where I am with you. So I thank you for this opportunity to talk about my passions.
And I can tell how excited you are, and it's I'm getting a feel for like your thought process, because there's always that fear of like, am I doing the right thing, right? And you think, well, if I'm doing like 5 or 6 different projects, how do they all interrelate? And it seems like your thought process is there's like the bubble or whatever metaphor, right? The umbrella, who the heck knows? But like you're saying, there's like this leadership thing, and then all these other ideas that fit in there. So they all connect, and it's not like all these other areas all over the place. And there's a lot of kind of just helpful things that are built into to what you're saying. You're talking about this whole idea of like of mentorship, and not just getting help, but also kind of sometimes your student then becomes the teacher to help you out. It becomes a two-way street. And there's also a lot of revisiting this idea of kind of like the recurring reexamination of saying, okay, well, what's my plan and what's my strategy and what's my next idea? And that's really easy to forget, right? It's really easy to just kind of either be go, go, go. There's never any free time. You're just cranking out the work every day. And there's the temptation to say, okay, I did the work and then let me just rest on my laurels. But it seems like it takes this deliberate effort to like revisit your branding and your marketing and your messaging, and just say like, okay, let me look back on my website, look back on my book, look back on everything I'm putting out there, look back on my keynote presentation and all these things, just to make it a little bit better. And so you did the SWOT analysis, and you said my way's better. Weaknesses is a bad thing. Improving is better. But what sort of improvement are you working on? Because I hate that weakness idea too. And I've heard that you need to like kind of more strengthen your strengths instead of trying to strengthen your weakness, and then maybe find other people who can fix the weakness. But as far as your not weakness, but improvement, what have you been working on for yourself as far as improving?
Oh, well, thank you. Okay, so just to highlight what you said, because yes, you strengthen your strengths and, work on your improvements. And so it came down to two magic words: nature and nurture. And so when we identify what your nature is, it's not a bad thing. It's a great thing, whether you're an introvert or an extrovert, whether you're, I'm not even going to go into the detail, but I go, if the introvert just needs to learn how to just do it and not think it, and an extrovert kind of needs to think about it before they do it. So when you identify your nature and just honor that, then you can nurture a few simple things, and then you can nurture those few simple things, because no matter what type of personality you have, you're both destined to succeed because it's skill set. It's being that little bit more brave. And so those are the things that I've implemented. So last year, okay, I'm 30 years in the industry, like, blah, blah, blah. And I kind of like, yeah, but what am I learning? So that's why, like, again, work out, set myself connected to Pat and what he's doing. I connected myself, with Tisha and I. So the things that I had to learn is to go online. And because to succeed in the new business, you had to show up online and share and start educating and giving value. So, as much as I had my Facebook and my Instagram, I didn't really do much other than I shared family stuff, I shared my lifestyle. So I really kind of more played and posted things. And then it became, okay, so I'm going to start posting more content and value. But it was more posting and praying. And then I learned how to post with purpose. So that's where I've come. And then, okay, well, let's write this book. So I had to learn, okay, there's some strategies on writing the book, but let's just get it out. But again, you need that support. And so hence why Robert, and Pat, you guys were so fantastic in supporting me in writing this book. But then I thought, and now that was actually the easy part, right? It's going and showing up online and creating a brand, creating the community. And so I'm creating a community a little bit different than I did in the old school network marketing ways. So that's what I'm learning. I'm really learning. And so now we're learning to do these courses so we can share and change the world. So that's where I'm in. Now it's like, okay, we've organically done everything, like, and we're proud of what we've done organically. But at the reality now is you really get bums on the seat. You got to now learn, like the whole Facebook advertising and click funnels or however that all works. And that is just a whole new world for me. I'm just like, so I've reached out to a few people that Pat has recommended and supported to start talking about, that new thing. So that's like the new thing. So we're doing everything organic, but that's kind of the shift now that I got to go into and learn and develop. Now I can hire these people to do it, and that's great. But I'm one of the people that if I'm going to hire someone to do it, I want to know what they're doing, how they're doing it. And so I get myself in the learning process, just like I've done, even just learning how to do graphics and canvas for your own personal branding. Like I learned that, but I became passionate about it because it was decor and decorating. And so that kind of is an inner passion of mine in that. So that's kind of the things that I'm learning. That's where I'm going, kind of going with it. And again, it comes down to who's going to help support me on that. Who's really great at doing that already, and how can I attach myself to that? And, we really want to be able to create a community of connection and collaboration and, and just create really great things. So that's kind of where I'm at with all that.
And you touched on something that not a lot of people talk about that's an important skill, which is finding a way to get excited by starting with the thing that you know you should do and you don't want to do, but then connecting it to the thing that does excite you. Like if someone out there is dreading Facebook ads, blogging, live streaming, writing content, whatever it is, it might be boring on its own. But if that leads to you being able to quit your 9 to 5, grow your business, take your family on a vacation, retire early, whatever it is, then that's the path for you to get there. And you also mentioned how important it is for us all to get ourselves out there. And it used to be sort of optional, right? It used to be a thing where, well, if you want to post sometimes, that's cool. But then nowadays, and especially post pandemic, where everything's on video now, everything's on the apps or the phones now, everyone's always logged on. And there's so many books now, so many podcasts, etc. It's like if you want to compete, then you can either compete in the modern day or the 80s and 90s sort of time era. And it seems like it's important to ramp up in order to be able to post consistently and to say these things. If for nothing else, then I had a little bit of an aha just this week where I was going out to on LinkedIn to like prospect for some people for being on podcasts and things like that. And when I see someone hasn't posted in a while, I just kind of move on. I'm just like, if they haven't
Hmm.
posted on Facebook or LinkedIn in a couple of weeks, I'm thinking like, who is this person? I'm going to pass them over for some, and only with that difference, right? You can have the best resume or all these accomplishments, but you're not even updating within the last couple of weeks. Like you're not plugged into the modern age. So this is all really important things for us to be thinking about. So what do you think you have done really well as far as the social media and the community that other people aren't doing or other people aren't talking about enough?
I've tapped myself in and connected with a Gen Z, like a young generation, and I have so much to offer her. She's got so much to offer me. So it's become a partnership. So what Tisha and I have done, like I'm electrified. Like I got goosebumps when I talk about the relationship I have. So now, in the world in the space that I am in the network marketing and the people I'm working with, I'm talking about. I'm going go and connect yourself with someone of the younger generation. They want to learn just as much as you want to learn. Like I highly feel because our next generation is them, and if we don't create our relationship in this, like we had with our grandparents, they're going to be lost. And I feel, especially the baby boomers. Like I love this concept, and I probably will do a podcast on this one day. So it's going out there, but they're not dead yet. They got so much to offer. And so I just feel if they can be brave to connect with somebody younger, and the young are open enough to allow us to like share our, the mindset and the history that we have, the experience with their like they're entrepreneurs. They're born entrepreneurs. They're the best multitaskers out there. They are IT connected. So now it's just giving them a community and helping them with their mindset. So I just feel there's huge opportunity. If we can make that connection to our generation, to the younger generation, I just think we can make a difference. And hence why I've been doing what I've been doing. And, you talk about getting out of the 9 to 5, I did that at 24 years old. Okay. So I've now made it my mission to help people get out of stuck. Okay. Get out of stuck, become their own boss and create the destiny that, be in control of their destiny, whatever that looks like. So I just help connect those dots. Hence why I became a holistic health coach in this process, because my passion is I can't help anybody in business if they're sick. Right. And and being a life coach, I can't help anybody if they don't got this part right. And not and I'm not saying I go and coach them at that level. I just need to be really well absorbed on who do they need to connect with at that level so I can help them in the business space. So when you go to dracy.com, you will see the business, the life, as well as the health, but it's only to connect them to the right places and the right people so I can genuinely connect them to the unwrapped leaders so they can become the gifted leader that they are destined to become.
Well, fantastic. And so these are all important reminders that different people need different things. And then also this kind of these generational gaps, because, and I don't know exactly where everyone lands, but it feels like the boomers are more about the in-person and the phone calling. And then when you get more to the Gen X, it's more about the email and YouTube. And then millennials, it's more getting into like the Facebook. And then Gen Z gets more into the TikTok and the Instagram. And what that says to me is just that even if a platform of communication is not your preferred one, or if it doesn't make sense to you, still find a way to get on there, or still find a way to at least communicate in that way, because other people are only looking for you through podcasting or through Twitter. And so it helps to have that sort of empathy to know, okay, where are people stuck? Where are they hanging out? Where are they looking for you? And where are they not finding you? And where is the need not being filled? So that way you can jump in there with your information, with your coaching, with your advice, with your content. And so we've mentioned a few of your resources here, right? You mentioned you have your website, you have your book, you have your community. So can you tell us if someone has bit the Dracy Dewar Unwrapped Leader bug, and they want to tap into some of this leadership and this enthusiasm, becoming their best selves, etc. What's the next logical step? Where should someone go to find out more about you?
Well, they can go to theunwrappedleader.com. That's a really good place because what it'll connect them to is the free masterclass, the free resources is the gift analysis so they can start working on what their strengths and weaknesses are, their gifts or improvements. And, and then they can tap into us. We have our own podcast. So we've already done 20 episodes. So we're working on consistency. We're working on doing, one of the biggest things is leading by example. So I'm doing everything to lead by example. And so they can go follow our podcast as well. And it's on YouTube and it's connected to everything. So that'd be the best place for them to go. And I really just want to just finish off with one thing. And and this is one that you got to wrap your head around. Opposite of dysfunctional is dysfunctional. Now, I'm not saying anyone's dysfunctional in this, but I'm talking about the old school bellies. We just like connect by old school ways, and the new school is all about the internet and all about that connection. And I'm really big on one's not better than the other. I feel if we can all meet in the middle. So our new generation needs to connect with being more personal and more face to face and more hands touch and making people feel special. And the old school needs to be able to step up and shine and stand out in the online presence. So I feel together we can come meet in the middle, and next generation is our future. So we got to tap in and connect with them.
I love it. The time is now. Let's get people talking. Let's get people to communicating. And the next step for you out there in podcast or YouTube land to go is the unwrappedleader.com to find out what Dracy has going on. And what's next for you? What's coming up in the next 6 or 12 months?
Yeah, well, again, this is new space and learning new stuff. So the 5th of November in the Northern Hemisphere is the Unwrapped Your Brand Masterclass. So, and we want to lead into what we call is becoming a social media MVP. MVP, not being the most valuable player, but being able to connect your mission, your mission, your vision, and your purpose all together, and unwrapping your personal brand. And then we're just want to create more content and give more value to our community. So we're just want to build that community and yeah, have a lot of fun. That's most importantly. Our presence being able to be a gift for you.
Your presence as far as being there, but also as far as the gift, right? I love your branding. It's very cutesy. It's very fun. So MVP, mission, vision, purpose. That is the unwrappedleader.com, dracydewar.com. That's DRACYDEWAR.com. Check out Dracy on Facebook and find her podcast with 20 episodes because they are consistent and so much more. Dracy Dewar, glad to be talking to you today.
Robert, it's a pleasure. And thank you for all that you did to help make this happen. You're an absolute gift in our business.